Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk briefly about all the Bitcoin that is supposed to be lost. There's various reasons why they're lost. It's not only negligence, and I'm going to explain what can be done and what should be done. The problem, mostly it's bad user habits. People don't save their seed. They click, I do it later. They write down a note that it's in a pocket, and we receive like seeds that gone through a wash machine that we have to go through the words. Bad core developers, what's that? It's basically there are few versions of Bitcoin core that has bugs that's been solved, but during the time that they were having those bugs, people were unable to recover the passwords. To give you an example, if someone used the Mac in 2015 and they used the # and saved their password, that password was not recoverable later on. Another thing that there is still about 400 or 500 Ethereum pre-ICO wallets that are not recovered. And one of the problems, if you go on the GitHub, you will see that they changed the code during the ICO, and nobody wanted to talk about that. Another thing is upgrades, security upgrades for hardware wallets, and the list goes on. There's also, of course, family members that pass away. We receive quite a lot of requests from wives or kids where the dad or husband passed away, and they have like limited information, or the information that have doesn't work. What else? We can go on. So who is KeychainX? We're incorporated 4 years ago in the US. We're currently moving to Zug in Switzerland because of the regulation in the US. We have over 1 billion in wallets currently that we work on. We also check new wallets that are coming out, look for bugs, because whenever there is a new blockchain coming out, a new wallet, there's always some little error that might have the key unrecoverable. We write our own tools. We check on the tools that are on GitHub. If you're a programmer, any of you, you probably know BTC Recover, Hashcat, etc., etc. But they don't cover all the wallets, and they also have bugs. For example, there is a free tool called Hashcat that is used to break wallets. If you have a blockchain.info wallet from 2012, there's a big chance it will not find the password even if you have the password, because it's not 100%. We also build hardware. We have an R&D department that is working on something that generates hashes. That is what we usually do. When someone has a wallet, that password to the wallet is generating a hash. And to find the password, we need to check against hashes. And also we have a patent pending since 2019 that we filed in both the US, Japan, Europe. It's probably pending everywhere. I'm going to talk about that later. Can go through that. So 2020, we also launched something called KeychainX Pro, which is working with exchanges and the funds that, let's say, there is a user database that an exchange has, and when people forget their passwords, they're not able to give them because they're self-custodial. But sometimes it's possible to download the wallet. Let's say if you have a blockchain.com, it's possible to get the encrypted wallet, even though they say on the web page that your 12 words are the only one that can recover it. So what else? What assets do we have? We build a CPU farm because some of the wallets that we have need CPUs. We have a GPU farm, which is used to mine. So probably when Ethereum moves from Ethereum 1 to Ethereum 2, there will be a lot of cheap GPUs for us to buy. We also have special software that will go through mnemonic phrases. Let's say you have a mnemonic with 12 words and 2 or 3 or 4 of them are wrong, then we can find the right combination to that wallet. We can also take all the 12 words and do all the combinations there are. That would probably take a month to find, but it's possible. If you have a treasure with 24 words, we can do up to 4 missing words, and we can also find a passphrase for you. And we do that offline, so it's not like we need the physical treasure. And of course, you probably also know that you can, with all the treasures, you can use a device with electricity that will trigger the treasure to dump the seed. So that's also possible. So basically, we have a wallet. It's encrypted in a file. We send it to a server. We call it the brain server, which keeps all the passwords that we tried for that wallet. And if the password has been found, it saves it to a file called the pot file. We usually use a GPU crack rig. And when we get the password, we unlock the wallet, ask the client for a new address. Because usually people, when they have a wallet, they ask maybe a friend or someone on Reddit to help them with the password. And when we find it, we tell them that we probably need to use it to a new one because we never know who else has that wallet. So the market size, we believe, is 100 billion. And where did we get that amount? Chain analysis says 20% of all Bitcoin is lost. So that's about 200 billion. If we look at the Ethereum blockchain and we scan them every day, we can see sometimes the amount of Ethereum that hasn't moved since 2017. That's probably about 7–8%. We also get a lot of requests from Dogecoin, which has, probably everyone knows, got very much up in price. And that also means a lot more work for us with Dogecoin wallets. We covered a wallet for a guy in the US a couple of months ago that had 10 million Doge that he bought for $1,500. And when we recovered, it was worth 3 million. So that's a huge. He was like very happy. And our fees are between 10 and 50%. We usually start with 20%. If it's a big wallet, we can do a discount. And then over time, we increase the amount because it costs us to run the service, our time, etc., etc. So what does the future mean for us? Probably more wallets. The more people use blockchain, the more people lose their keys. With new blockchains, we've seen recently a rise in Solana wallets, in ADA wallets. A lot of people ask us with Shiba coins, etc. And also, the more people get older and pass away, their families going to try to use their wallet to recover them, and they're probably not very familiar with all the ways that you can do it. So sometimes we even have people sending us a private key and asking, how do I do that to move it? So we have all kinds of problems. The patent pending we have uses several key features. One of them is 3 fingers. Why do we use 3 instead of 1? It's because with 1 fingerprint, you have 1 in 50,000 people have it. So in 1 million, you get 20 people have the same fingerprint. We also use GPS to create the private key and salt it. So we do 50 by 50 squares. And for example, you can go on your ranch, create that wallet, and then you can only access it from that point. Which also means if someone tries to hack your wallet, he has to get into your ranch to do that. We also have a few other parameters for that wallet, which is doing depending on the height, so it can track how high you are on a location. We can add time, we can add date, and basically anything with it. We also have something called social recovery that Vitalik Buterin wrote about last year. So we really hope that we start to use that because we filed a patent the year before. So we'll see how that goes. It's still patent pending, and it could take a few years before it gets confirmed. So this is our contact info, and if anyone has any questions, then feel free to ask, shoot them away.
Great. Robert, thank you so much for that awesome presentation. Big round of applause for Robert. That's excellent. Thank you so much. Individuals like you and your company really do help and support our development, and it's a really key part to have you guys here. So really appreciate that. Maybe I'll open the floor to some questions if anybody has anything. Gentlemen here.
Hi, is the biometric wallet compatible with all the EVM compatible chains like, I don't know, Binance Smart Chain, Phantom, Avalanche, etc.?
So far, we've done it for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So any blockchain you can add it. It's just how you create the keys, really.
Got it. Any more questions? Any more questions? Well, Robert and his team. Oh, lady at the front there. How are you?
Hi, I was hoping you could expand a bit more on the keys in your wallet. How do you do that?
What do you mean, how I expand?
How do you secure the private keys and yet allow them to be...
They're created on the fly. So when you're at a special location and it's a special time and you access your wallet, it creates the key based on the info from your fingers, the location where you are. So it's just auto-generated.
Cool. Well, gentlemen there, let me get to you. Man, you're making me work today, huh? Jesus, I haven't even had my lunch. Come on.
Thanks very much. Found that very interesting. One of your solutions, you mentioned that you have hardware for breaking encryption. So that's obviously quite interesting and has a lot of applications outside of Bitcoin. So can you talk a bit more about that?
How we do it, or?
What encryption are you breaking?
Let's say you have a Bitcoin Core wallet, right? It stores the password. It's hashed. So what we do is we extract the hash, and then we either have a part of the password as hints from the client. So let's say you have a password called password 123 exclamation point. But the client says my password is password 3000. So what we do is we break down the hints and we do combinations of them. We add random characters, we remove random characters, we check against leaks, and then we create a hash from that password hint and compare it with the wallet.
Okay, thanks very much.
Gentleman at the back. Maybe we can, how are we going to do this? I know what we'll do. Let's have a little bit of audience participation.
Hello, thanks for that, by the way. Is it fair to say that whichever techniques you're using, they're all shortcuts through brute force? Or is there, I mean, you're not going to tell me otherwise, but is that fair to say?
Fair to say, because there's some noise.
So you mentioned that there's software and special hardware that you're building.
Yeah.
Are these all to accelerate the brute force?
Yes. Because depending on the algorithm that the keys are stored, let's say if you have a Ethereum version 3 script, which cannot use GPUs, you can only use a CPU, and if it's like salted with the n value 264,000, you can probably only do like 10 or 20 passwords a second on CPU. Our idea is I think probably some other people are doing as well, is to build a custom-made ASIC. Instead of creating hashes for mining Bitcoin, it would create hashes based on that algorithm to speed up the process. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you.